One of the most advanced robot dogs on the market right now costs $42,000. Carries an adult on its back, walks through water, and runs nearly 6 hours straight. It has been sitting on the market for over 2 years. It is not inside a single major Western factory at scale, and it's not the price. Compared to one human injury on a refinery floor, $42,000 is cheap. And the answer has nothing to do with the specs.
The as possible part is it's quite a high bar. If you want to have a humanoid robot that can do things that a human can do, it's a very high bar.
Whatever is blocking these robots from the factory floor right now, the humanoid robots raising billions of dollars today are about to hit the exact same wall. The tool isn't a robot dog problem, and this isn't just a robotic story. We are living through the fastest technology revolution in human history. AI can write code, generate films, and pass the bar exam. And yet, the physical world around us, the factories, the warehouses, and the infrastructure remains slow, clumsy, and remarkably unchanged. The robots exist, the budget exists, the corporate will to automate exists. So why is the physical world so stubborn? Because what is blocking these machines from the factory floor isn't a technology problem, it's a friction problem. The invisible resistance sitting between a working technology and a working factory. And if you work in operations, logistics, manufacturing, and anywhere automation has been promised as a future cost-saving measure, understanding this friction is the only way to know when that promise actually arrives. So let's start with the obvious question. If the hardware is this capable, why aren't factories buying it? The two most visible names in this market globally are Unitree, a Chinese robotics company that became the world's largest seller of four-legged robots, and the Boston Dynamics, the American firm whose viral robot videos have been defining the public image for robotics for over a decade. Unitree sold around 23,000 quadruped robots last year, nearly 70% of the entire global market. Boston Dynamics has deployed roughly 2,000 units total, going commercial in 2019. 12-1. Case closed, right? Except when you check Unitree's own numbers. Their average selling price last year was under $6,000. Not 40,000 or 50, which means the overwhelming majority of those 23,700 units were consumer-grade models, starting at $1,600, closer to expensive gadget than a piece of factory equipment. So, you assume Boston Dynamics is winning the industrial side then. They have been at this longer, they have the brand, they have the trust. But let me show you what actually happens when a factory tries to buy one. You are an operations director at a Texas refinery, convinced your CFO to approve $75,000 budget for a sport. You assume next week your plant will look like the future. Week 1, you unbox it and realize it's a chassis that works well. No gas leak detection, no explosion-proof certification. To make it useful, you need another $30,000 in sensors, plus a system integrator to build everything from scratch. Week 2, you try to connect it to the network. IT shut the door immediately. We're not putting a Wi-Fi-enabled camera on a network that controls flammable liquids. Week 3, safety and the union come knocking. Dozens of kilos of moving machine on the floor. If it glitches and falls on someone, who's liable? And is this here to replace the person who used to walk this route? By the time the dust settles, your $75,000 robot has cost $150,000 or more, and it still can't do the job it was bought for. So, strip away the marketing, and both companies arrive at the same uncomfortable place. The heavy industry isn't buying these robots at scale. But there's a question that matters more than who won the quadruped market. Boston Dynamics has the brand, the backing, a 5-year head start, and it still didn't crack this. A company almost nobody in the West has heard of did. There's a real ranking in 2025 of who actually makes money selling these robots to factories. And the company on top of it isn't Boston Dynamics, it isn't Unitree either. It's a company called Robotics, a Chinese startup with no viral dancing videos and almost zero name recognition outside the industry. I've done a full breakdown of their strategy in a separate video on this channel. Link on screen. And here's a part of why they're winning, while the other two are still stuck. Robotics only picked specific industries, such as power grid inspection and firefighting. And they solved every deployment problem before the robot ever left the factory. And the software was already trained for those specific jobs. And the robot already spoke the same language as the systems those facilities were already running for years. No IT department saying no. No six-figure integration bill. The robot walks in the door, already working. The robot dog market just ran a 5-year experiment, and here's what it proved. The technology barrier was cleared years ago. The deployment barrier never was. IT security policies, legal liability, union contracts, these aren't edge cases. They are the factory floor, and none of them show up on the spec sheet. This pattern has appeared before. CATL, the company that's owned the global EV battery market for 9 years straight. It didn't win on chemistry alone. In the early years, rivals had comparable or better sales. What CATL did was spend years quietly making itself impossible to be replaced, embedding into how car manufacturers actually built their cars long before Western competitors realized that was a real competition. By the time the battery race became visible, the integration work was already done. The same pattern is playing out in robotics now. The gap is never filled by the most impressive hardware. It's filled by whoever is willing to do the unglamorous work of fitting the technology into existing systems. The Western robotics industry has largely treated this friction as a temporary inconvenience. The data from China suggests it's the permanent condition. Which brings us to the part of this story that the humanoid robot industry hasn't figured out yet. Quadruped robots have one job: walk around with a sensor. They failed to be deployed at factories at scale. Not because the hardware wasn't ready, but because the factory wasn't. Humanoid robots are being asked to do something much harder. Use human tools in human spaces, alongside the human workers, inside the same factories with the same IT departments, the same unions, and the same liability risks that stopped the robot dog code. Early deployment data is already coming out of Chinese pilot programs. Humanoid robots are already working inside the real factories, and the same friction points are already showing up. The data is beginning to show what the founding headlines couldn't. The robot dog already paid tuition on this lesson. The question is whether the humanoid industry has read the transcript. What has to change first before humanoid robots can actually work on a factory floor? The robot or the factory? That question doesn't have a clean answer yet, but the companies that figured it out will determine whether the automation decade actually arrives, or whether it stays on demo stage for another 10 years. If you want to follow that data as it comes in from the Chinese factory floor before it reaches Western headlines, please subscribe. And if this video changed how you think about where robotics is actually heading, I've picked 2 more videos on the screen that are worth your time. I'm Justin. I will see you in the next one.